So Shay, we've been sitting around and we've been having a little bit of a conversation today, and I think we wanted to begin to open it up a little bit.
Share it.
And what is that conversation? Yeah, share that conversation a little bit with the world.
Well, I feel like we've been realizing that there's a lot of discrepancies between what people want in relationships, and we're given a lot of weird misinformation or really no information on how to be in a relationship. And then we're just expected to figure it out on our own, and turns into, breakups and divorces and just unhappy people. And I think
Well, I
it's,
think when you think about it, yeah, it's like where are we developing the skills that are needed for a healthy relationship? Like if you have it modeled at home, which means your family had it modeled for them and had it modeled for them, right? There's no real blame here. But if you didn't have it modeled at home, like where are we learning the key uh, skills and tools for building successful relationships?
right. It's not something you're taught in school. And most people just learn from their friends who are struggling along with them. So I think it's something that we get to bring a little awareness to and honesty to, and, a little vulnerability of like, this is where we're at. This is what we're looking for. This is, what we could work on and talk about and go from there.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I think there's just a lot of confusion out there we're seeing around what women want. Um,
Yeah.
and some consistent kind of errors in judgment, because I think you've alluded to this before when we've spoken, that we're all speaking a different language to each other and we forget that.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're trying to interact with people and engage and build relationships, there's a lot of work around what language am I speaking and what language are they hearing, right? And speaking in. Is my partner listening and speaking in? And how can I communicate what I intend, which is going to be different than the way I'm programmed to speak?
Yeah. And it relates to like the expectations in the relationship too. There's so many things that are left unspoken that we think like, we just assume our partner's gonna do or understand or think the same way as us. Like, of course he should buy me flowers, or he should, clean the
Why
counter.
doesn't he just know?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
so simple. But I think there are things that being a woman are simple, and that's one reason we want to talk about it. Because it's like it's really simple once you kind of know. But at the same time, you're right. We make all these assumptions, about things and how they should be, and that people should be able to read our minds. And,
Right.
the interesting thing about assumptions, I mean, I don't know if you, for me, I don't even always know that I have those expectations
Yeah.
until I'm in it. I didn't even know until I got married. Like I had a lot of expectations around what that even meant. I had no idea. It blindsided me.
Yeah, and there's these things called like non-negotiables we talked about in like gratitude workshop, and like the idea that there are these things that you are not okay with or 100% need in a relationship one way or the other. And so many times it's something that we don't even realize we have until we're committed to someone. And it's like, people go into a relationship and one person's non-negotiable is they want to have kids and the other person doesn't ever want to have kids, and somehow they're together for years and never really figure it out. And it's like, how can we express these things early on and see if we can work through them, or are we going to need to part ways because we're still firm in that being non-negotiable. But communication.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you and I see this a lot in our coaching practice too, where it's like the more we get clear about who we are, our value systems, what I'm hearing from you a lot is like, really, what are our values and priorities? And
Yeah.
how do those fit in with another human that we're working to compromise and be in relationship with? And there has to be a compromise, a give and take, or a beneficial relationship between those values that work to forward what's important to both parties. But if you don't know what your values are, it's really difficult to know where the friction's coming from or if this is even a long-term workable relationship. So, defining these things and talking about them is, I think, we were talking about misinformation and miscommunication. I think the fastest way to clarity is just having some of these honest conversations about it.
Yeah, and checking in with whether or not you're living in integrity with your morals and your values, and whether or not that person that you're trying to commit to has the same values and morals as you, or if you're on a completely different page. But yeah, I think communication.
Exactly. It's easy to look away too when we don't want to see.
Right, it is. It's easy to, fall into that chemical storm of love and chemistry and whatever it is. And yeah, and just fall into the trap and get distracted. Exactly.
It's like the tornado, right? It's like, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a high, and we don't talk about that enough. And we make so many compromises during that process. Like when you're all like, hi, I'm getting to know someone and plan this, and we don't step back and say,
Yep. Yeah, and we bring all of our rules to ourselves and all of our commitments to ourselves when we're solely focused on the person in front of us. And it's like, how many people cut relationships and ties with their friends and their relatives, and they stop doing these hobbies and things that they like just because they're obsessed with that person that they're falling in love with. And is that being an entire?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never done that. But it's true. And then you come up 2 years later, right? And you're like, I'm spending all my time with this person. Now I'm sick of them, right? And I haven't kept alive all the things that I enjoyed doing on my own. And then it's like you kind of have to rediscover those. And I think sometimes when we get too far away from who we are and we lose a little bit too much of ourselves into a relationship, actually burn the relationship down so we can get back out there and like reclaim that piece of our identity. And sometimes we have to, I think it's part of the evolution. But as we evolve and as we want more from our relationships, we want to be an active designer and creator in our lives. That's the perspective, certainly you and I come from. And everybody's different. We see everybody's different. But in order for me to effectively design my life, I do need to know who I am, what my values are, and where I'm going.
Yeah.
Those are really key components.
Well, yeah, what do I want to create in this life? I mean, so many of us have these firm goals and beliefs and things we want to accomplish. And then we fall in love and we're like, oh, it's not really that important if I do it or whatever it is. So it's like, how do you maintain what it is you want to create while you're with somebody and, grow a dream together that works for both of you, as opposed to being two independent little islands that are saying they're committed to each other, but not really,
Right. And I absolutely, I think we're caught in this world where it's a fine line between like codependence and like wholeness with compromise, right? Like two people that are whole coming together as one versus two people coming together to make each other whole, or in hopes of making themselves whole, which doesn't work.
Yeah. And there's like the other extreme is like the independence, but like saying you're together. So it's like, how do we meet in the middle with the wholeness of like maintaining our identity and our freedom, and also like coming together as a team and loving each other and going through life together, not having completely different life experiences and never communicating and just saying like, yeah, I'm married, but I haven't seen my husband in a year. Because I know people do that too. So
absolutely, there's so many people suffering in unhappy marriages and hating their jobs. And, this is all about, I think, re-engaging and reinvigorating life. And that's what we're hoping to create. So I think today we just kind of wanted to jump on and share a little bit of the little piece of the conversation that we're having. And we're more regularly going to do this. Shay, you and I are committed to kind of being open and spreading this conversation. So we just wanted to jump on and say hi. And we look forward to speaking more. We'd love to hear what you guys want in relationship. We're really here to kind of spark that conversation, but a real one. I think there's a lot of messages out there about what people want that, like you said, aren't true. What do we really want? What are we really up to creating?
Yeah, we want to get down to the truth of it and get everyone's perspective that we can of like, what is it that we're all looking for, and find some common themes so that, we can help the men out. We can help anyone who's single out to figure out, a stepping stone, a little path to guide them to a successful relationship, whatever that looks like to them. So you're not just blindly wandering in this life like so many of us are.
Right. There are some tools. It's like not as complicated as we make it. And I think that's our goal, is to create an open, honest conversation to show that it's not that complicated. And sometimes I wonder if we overcomplicate it to almost set up success. And here, we're here to inspire dreams to achieve like next level results. And a huge part of that is connection at a new level in our relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right.
Well, I'm excited.
Well, thanks for the chat. Yeah, I'm
Thank
excited
you.
too. I'm excited to do this more and listen to what other people's feedback is as well.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
You too.
Talk later. Bye.
Bye.